What if I told you the courtroom meltdown you saw last week was just the warm-up act? What if everything you thought you knew about Bambi, Stevie J, and the love and hip-hop circus was a flaming hot lie wrapped in a velvet NDA? Yeah, buckle up, because Bambi didn't just show up to court with lip gloss and attitude, she came strapped with files. And not just any files we're talking about, sealed, scrubbed. It's never happened. Files that could turn Stevie J from hip-hop bad boy to courtroom punching bag overnight. You thought this was a petty TV breakup? Try conspiracy, defamation, witness tampering, and that's just Monday. Why did Stevie panic when those transcripts hit the internet? Why did a certain VH1 executive send a mysterious 2 a.m. email titled Emergency Mediation? And why suddenly is everyone who was calling Bambi bitter now deleting tweets like their Wi-Fi depends on it? This isn't just tea, baby. This is boiling lava. Because when Bambi stepped into that courtroom, she didn't just testify, she detonated. So before you blink, scroll, or defend your favorite toxic cast member, ask yourself, are you ready to hear the truth they paid to keep buried? Let's get into it. Let's rewind the drama to where it all actually exploded, not on the show, not in a shady blog post, but right inside a courtroom that was never supposed to see cameras, microphones, or this level of humiliation. But guess what? All three found their way in. Bambi walked into that courthouse not like a woman on defense, but like a woman with receipts the whole world had been pretending didn't exist. No shaky voice, no reality TV dramatics, just ice-cold determination. She sat down, opened her mouth, and silence hit the room like a thunderclap. Her first words: "I have nothing left to lose, so I brought everything." And baby, she wasn't bluffing. She didn't come to cry. She came with evidence. Binders thick with transcripts, call logs, deleted DMs, and those so-called sealed court documents that were allegedly buried so deep no one would ever see them again. Well, she dug them up, printed them out, and walked them right up to the judge's desk. The courtroom didn't just freeze, it evaporated. And who was sitting 3 feet away, looking like someone just yanked the floor out from under him? None other than Stevie J, who up until that moment had been strutting around like the courtroom was his stage and he was delivering another performance. But Bambi didn't come to play his game. She flipped open a folder, pointed to a page, and read a line so cold it sent chills through the benches. This is a sworn statement filed by Stevie J on January 16th, in which he claimed I fabricated abuse allegations and orchestrated a smear campaign to destroy his career. That's a lie. She didn't blink. The room did. Now remember, this is the same Stevie J who's been flexing his way through reality TV for years like he's the puppet master of everyone else's downfall. The man who's built an entire brand off being the unbothered, smug player with all the connections and none of the consequences. But suddenly, in that courtroom, he wasn't the puppet master. He looked like the puppet. Because right as Bambi dropped that first receipt, her legal team stood up and announced they would be entering into evidence, not just testimony, but recorded calls, unedited messages, and yes, actual court communications that allegedly show Stevie J not only lied under oath, but manipulated the narrative outside of court to protect his image and trash hers. And here's where things went from messy to downright sinister. One of the call logs allegedly captured Stevie in a phone conversation with a VH1 producer saying, "Just keep the pressure on her. She fold. Once she's out the way, we got control of the narrative." And if that wasn't enough, another set of messages allegedly showed him coordinating with none other than Mama D, helping her craft social media posts that made Bambi look unhinged while Stevie came out looking like a victim. Now pause for a second. Mama D, the queen of mess herself, who has been going on Instagram lives talking about how Bambi destroyed Scrappy's life, may have been working with Stevie to make sure Bambi never stood a chance. Let that cook for a second, but wait, Bambi wasn't done. She had more. Screenshots, time-stamped and verified, showing edits made to text conversations. Someone had manipulated the timestamps to make it look like Bambi had sent threatening messages. One screenshot showed a conversation where the times jumped backward, proving it was stitched together. Another document revealed that a confidential informant had submitted testimony to the court. Through unofficial back-channels testimony that was used to justify a court decision but never disclosed to Bambi's legal team. That's not a slip-up. That's a setup. And while Bambi was laying out the receipts like cards on a poker table, the internet was having a full-on meltdown. Twitter blew up within minutes of the courtroom feed leaking. Comments ranged from "I owe Bambi, the biggest apology," to "Stevie J might need a lawyer for real this time." Even the verified accounts were watching celebrities reposting. Quotes, "Influencers going live with deep dives," and TikTok detectives already trying to match voice recordings to past scenes. Because here's the thing, Bambi wasn't just talking. She was triggering every red flag that fans had ignored for years. Remember those awkward reunion specials where Stevie would interrupt Bambi mid-sentence? Fans pulled the clips and slowed them down. "Look at her body language here," one user said. She knew something wasn't right. Another fan pointed out that every time Bambi started to defend herself, the camera would pan away, cut to someone else, or fade to commercial. And guess who was executive producing those reunion specials? Yeah, that part. But it didn't stop with just social media. By the time court recessed for lunch, 3 gossip blogs had already leaked excerpts from Bambi's testimony. One anonymous blog claimed to have seen documents confirming that multiple scenes from past episodes were staged or worse. Reshot weeks later to villainize Bambi and soften Stevie's image. Suddenly, everything the public thought they knew about their favorite toxic couple was falling apart like a dollar store wig in a hurricane. And while fans were piecing together their favorite aha moments, VH1 executives were allegedly scrambling behind the scenes. One insider told a popular blog that a closed-door emergency meeting was held less than an hour after Bambi's live testimony. They knew this was going to blow, the source said. They didn't think she'd actually bring the files. But she did. And here's where the tension really snapped. Just before the session resumed, Bambi's legal rep dropped a teaser to the press. What's been exposed so far is only the beginning. More documents will be introduced tomorrow, some of which the network has tried to bury since 2019. You could practically hear producers across the country choking on their oat milk lattes. Because if what she brought to court that day was just the warm-up, then what's coming next could turn this from a scandal into a full-blown media takedown. And just like that, the courtroom became ground zero for one of the most unexpected reality TV implosions of the decade. As soon as Bambi stepped off that witness stand, the whispers started swirling like wildfire, and the air in the hallway felt thick with panic. Stevie J didn't say a word as he left the room, but his face told the whole story, tight-lipped, twitching jaw, and eyes that refused to look anywhere but the floor. His legal team huddled like players down 30 points in the fourth quarter, desperately trying to regroup before the next round of bombs hit. Meanwhile, Bambi walked out like she had just burned down a house and was ready to pour gasoline on the ashes. Back on social media, things were going haywire. Fans, bloggers, even ex-cast members were going live, analyzing every syllable she uttered, every document she referenced. One former assistant director from the show even popped into a Twitter space claiming that, yes, producers were instructed to frame Bambi as unstable during 2 specific reunion specials, and even offered up a blurry screenshot of what looked like internal notes for cast direction. Suddenly, all those years of shady edits, suspicious camera angles, and conveniently placed reaction shots weren't just messy, they were allegedly premeditated character assassination. But here's where it truly started spiraling out of control. A leaked voice memo landed in the inbox of a major gossip site, allegedly recorded just weeks before the trial began. The voice on the tape sounding a whole lot like Stevie J. was allegedly heard saying, "If she opens her mouth, it's a wrap. Shut her down before court, whatever it takes." Bloggers went feral. Audio engineers started dissecting the recording, matching tone, pitch, even background sounds, trying to determine if it was legit. Some said it was undeniably him. Others said it could be a deepfake. But what no one denied was the impact it hit the internet like a hammer. Even people who had never cared about Bambi or love and hip-hop before were suddenly glued to the scandal. Instagram reels were popping off, TikToks hit millions of views overnight. And the phrase "Bambi was right" became a trending topic faster than you could say courtroom conspiracy. Then, as if the whole saga needed more fuel, an anonymous VH1 editor came forward during a live stream hosted by a YouTube gossip personality with over 500K subscribers. Wearing a hoodie and speaking through a voice modulator, this editor claimed entire scenes had been filmed and then thrown out because they painted Bambi in too positive a light. "We were told to cut her empathy, her logic, even moments where she defended herself calmly," the editor said. They wanted chaos. They wanted her to look angry, irrational, bitter. That's what sells. Fans lost it. Suddenly, every reunion clip, every confessional, every shouting match was being re-examined like it was a piece of the Zapruder film. Reddit threads popped up overnight, complete with side-by-side comparisons, timestamps, even color-coded breakdowns of who interrupted, whom, and when. But then came the real gut punch. Bambi's legal team dropped a press release stating that they were preparing to file a defamation suit not only against Stevie J, but also against certain VH1 producers, citing orchestrated narrative control, manipulation of public perception, and mental distress caused by intentional misrepresentation. And get this, they claim to have documentation showing that Stevie was paid bonuses for steering drama toward Bambi, allegedly. Every time he helped shift the spotlight away from his own controversies and onto hers, his check got a little fatter. That's right, her trauma was currency, and the receipts were stamped, signed, and ready for court. As expected, the network stayed silent, but silence doesn't mean neutral. The very next day, eagle-eyed fans noticed that VH1's YouTube channel had quietly removed over a dozen old clips featuring Bambi in peak meltdown mode. One day they were there, the next gone without a trace. That only poured gasoline on the fire. What were they trying to hide? Was this a preemptive cover-up? A quiet apology? Or just damage control too little, too late? Meanwhile, Stevie J finally broke his silence. But let's just say his timing was about as bad as his publicist. In a blurry, over-filtered IG story, it's called Bambi, a washed-up opportunist who's mad the storyline moved on without her. The comments section was a war zone. Fans flooded it with clown emojis, links to the court audio, and side-by-side comparisons of Stevie's past gaslighting behavior. One fan wrote, "You were the storyline. You just didn't think she'd beat you at your own game." While Stevie flailed on social media, Scrappy was busy making everything worse. Just hours after Bambi's courtroom testimony went viral, he posted a meme that showed a cartoon woman with a Pinocchio nose and the caption, "When you lie so much you forget what's real." Fans didn't just turn on him, they annihilated him. Commenters pulled up old clips where Scrappy admitted on camera that Stevie couldn't be trusted, that Bambi was holding the family together while everything else fell apart. People weren't confused, they were furious. Even celebrities started taking sides. One fan posted a 2-minute mashup of every time Bambi got cut off on camera while making a point, overlaid with circus music and flashing text that read, "Edited for chaos." Even blogs that usually stayed neutral were posting editorials with titles like VH1's Dirty Little Secret and How Reality TV Broke Bambi, but she's still standing. And in the middle of all this digital madness, Bambi went quiet. Again, no posts, no lives, no stories, nothing. Which of course only made the internet more obsessed. What was she planning next? What receipts were still in the vault? Because if this was only round 2, the final blow might just take the whole network down. And then came the moment no one saw coming. After days of online silence, Bambi returned with a post so subtle, yet so explosive, it stopped the internet in its tracks. No video, no rant, just a black screen with a single sentence in white text. They thought I'd be quiet forever. That was it. No tags, no captions. But the message was crystal clear: she wasn't done. Not by a long shot. Within minutes, every gossip page, commentary channel, and celebrity blog reposted the story, like it was breaking news from the FBI. Speculation erupted. Was she about to drop more evidence? Had she filed the lawsuit? Was someone else about to get dragged into the mess? And then, just hours later, she confirmed what everyone was waiting for. A trailer dropped, professionally shot, dramatic music, courtroom footage, confessionals, blurred out faces. And the title in bold white letters framed the Bambi story. In the voiceover, her voice cut through like a blade. You watched the show, now it's time to see the truth. The internet collectively gasped. This wasn't just a comeback. This was war. The trailer featured clips of unreleased footage, behind-the-scenes moments with producers whispering off camera, and even a voice memo from someone who sounded a lot like a love and hip-hop executive, saying, "We don't need her version. We already have what we want." The clip went viral in minutes. Fans went into investigation mode. Frame-by-frame breakdowns flooded TikTok, and Reddit exploded with theories, trying to guess who was going to be exposed next. But what made it worse or better, depending on who you ask, was that in the very next scene, the trailer showed a blurred document titled "Settlement Agreement" with VH1's logo barely visible in the corner. Viewers froze the screen and enhanced the image like it was national security footage. Did VH1 try to pay her off? Was this why she had gone quiet? The next post she made answered everything. A video, no music, no filter, just Bambi sitting in a chair staring directly into the camera. "They offered me a check," she said calmly. "I didn't take it." The room behind her was silent, but the internet was roaring. She continued, "They told me I could walk away clean. No court, no press, no headlines if I signed the NDA and disappeared. But I'm done disappearing. I have daughters. I'm not about to let them grow up thinking silence keeps you safe." Those words alone triggered a wave of support like nothing else. But behind all the noise was something even more chilling: a copy of what was allegedly the first draft of the actual lawsuit. It leaked through a well-known legal gossip blog and named not just Stevie J and VH1 producers, but 3 specific cast members and a network executive. The accusations included conspiracy to defame, intentional infliction of emotional distress, and malicious narrative fabrication. Fans couldn't believe what they were reading. There were mentions of altered footage, financial incentives for drama manipulation, and even internal memos instructing editors to isolate and amplify moments of emotional distress for entertainment value. One section alleged that Bambi was coerced into reshooting scenes that made her appear aggressive. And when she refused, she was threatened with breach of contract fines. Even more shocking, the document claimed that 2 other female cast members had privately complained about similar treatment but were pressured to remain silent. Now, the scandal wasn't just about Bambi anymore. It was a systemic issue, one that could implicate an entire industry. But while the internet turned into a courtroom of its own, Stevie J's silence was deafening. Days passed, then a week, and still nothing. No posts, no videos, no statements. Until finally, out of nowhere, he posted a grainy video of himself working out with the caption, "Real ones don't fold under pressure." But fans weren't impressed. The comments were brutal. One person wrote, "This ain't a mixtape promo, bro. We talking court documents?" Another added, "Running from accountability like you running on that treadmill? If that wasn't enough, Bambi dropped another clip from her documentary this time, featuring a phone call with someone labeled only as production assistant for, in which the voice says, "You know, they told us not to even mention that scene where you broke down. They said it ruined the storyline arc. Like your real breakdown didn't fit the vibe." That clip sent chills. Fans were no longer just entertained, they were angry. Petitions were launched demanding VH1 issue a public apology and conduct an internal investigation. Twitter Spaces ran 24/7 with debates, hot takes, and wild theories. Someone even started a digital archive compiling every time a female cast member cried on air and comparing it to how the show edited their storylines afterward. Meanwhile, Bambi's team confirmed that multiple lawyers had reached out to join the case, turning this into what could very well become the biggest media defamation trial since reality TV became a genre. But just when everyone thought it couldn't go any further, Mama D went live again, this time not from her usual couch, but from what looked like a hotel suite, holding a half-full glass of wine and petting her dog. All I'm to say is this: she started. I warned them. I warned them that girl wasn't stupid, but they didn't listen. Now they dealing with the storm. And with that, she winked and ended the stream. It was like watching the villain switch sides in the third act of a movie. The internet imploded all over again, 'cause now even the people who once tried to bury Bambi were starting to walk it back. Was it guilt? Was it self-preservation? Had the receipts simply become too real to deny? Whatever the reason, the narrative had fully flipped. Bambi was no longer the angry ex-wife or the messy cast member. She was the whistleblower, the underdog, who exposed an entire machine built on manipulation, deception, and the weaponization of real-life pain for views. And just as the credits of her trailer faded to black, one final message appeared on screen. "This time, you don't get to edit me out." So now that the truth is out and the receipts are on the table, it's your turn to speak up. Do you believe Bambi was framed? From the very beginning, was Stevie J the mastermind behind it all? Or is there someone even bigger pulling the strings? Drop your thoughts in the comments, because this conversation is far from over. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe for more explosive investigations that uncover what they never wanted you to see. Hit that bell icon, because the next bombshell is already loading, and trust, you won't want to miss what's coming next.